can't. I really can't do this.
The moment the music stopped, Elena Cross felt it. Something was wrong. The silence hit before the words did, sharp and unnatural, like the air had been sliced open. The officiant froze mid-sentence. Guests shifted in their seats. Then Victor Hale let go of her hands. I can't do this.
I really can't do this.
The words dropped into the chapel like shattered glass. Elena blinked once. Twice. She was still smiling for the cameras, still standing at the altar in white, still holding the bouquet that suddenly felt too heavy in her fingers. Victor took a step back, breathing like he'd just finished running. I'm sorry, he said, loud enough for everyone to hear. But I'm in love with someone else. A ripple tore through the room. Whispers. Gasps. Someone's phone hit the floor. Elena turned slowly to face him. Is this a joke? She asked, her voice calm in a way that surprised even her. Victor swallowed. No. Before she could respond, he looked past her, toward the second row on the left. Leanne, please come here. Elena felt the ground tilt. Leanne Wu stood up. Not just anyone. Her business partner. Her confidant. The woman who had helped her choose this venue, this dress, this exact shade of flowers. Leanne walked forward, heels clicking against marble, her face pale but determined. I didn't want it to happen like this, Leanne said softly. The guests erupted. Elena heard her aunt whisper her name. Someone laughed in disbelief. Someone else said, "Oh my God." Victor reached for Leanne's hand. But I can't lie anymore. I love her. The officiant cleared his throat. Perhaps we should. No, Elena said. Her voice cut through the chaos. Everyone looked at her. She stared at Victor, then at Leanne, then back at Victor. Her heart was racing, but her face broke into a slow, deliberate laugh. It wasn't hysterical. It wasn't broken. It was sharp. She laughed again, louder this time, and the room fell quiet. So this is it, Elena said. At the altar. In front of everyone. You couldn't even wait until after? Victor opened his mouth. Elena, She raised a hand. Don't. She turned to Leanne. How long? Leanne hesitated. Victor answered for her. Long enough. Elena nodded, as if confirming a detail in a contract. Then she reached up, unclipped her veil, and placed it gently on the altar. Well, she said, exhaling, thank you for not wasting any more of my time. She turned away from them. Cameras followed. Murmurs followed. Her mother stood halfway out of her seat, tears streaming down her face. Elena didn't stop. She walked down the aisle alone. Halfway to the exit, something made her pause. Someone hadn't stood. In the last row, a man remained seated, legs crossed, hands relaxed on his knees, watching everything with unsettling calm. He wasn't shocked. He wasn't whispering. He wasn't filming. He was amused. Their eyes met. He stood. Tall. Dark-haired. Dressed in a simple black suit that fit like it had been tailored around him personally. He stepped into the aisle as if he belonged there. Elena Cross, he said. Her spine straightened. Do I know you? No, he replied. But I know enough. Victor frowned. Who are you? The man glanced at him briefly, unimpressed. You can call me Noah Park. Victor's eyes widened. Uncle Noah? A murmur swept through the chapel again. Elena turned sharply. Uncle? Noah's gaze returned to her. I was invited for family obligation, he said. I stayed for curiosity. And now? Elena asked. Now, Noah said calmly, I'd like to offer you an alternative. Victor stepped forward. This isn't appropriate. Noah ignored him. He reached into his jacket and pulled out a folded document. When he opened it, Elena recognized it instantly. A marriage license. Partially filled. His name already signed. If you still wish to get married today, Noah said, I'm available. The room exploded. Is this a joke? Someone shouted. Victor stared at him. You can't be serious. Noah finally looked at his nephew. Sit down. Victor didn't. Elena studied Noah's face. There was no smirk. No hesitation. Just certainty. You don't even know me, she said. I know you didn't cry, Noah replied. That's enough to start. Her lips twitched despite herself. And what do you get out of this? Noah tilted his head. Satisfaction. Victor snapped, Elena, don't. She turned on him. You lost the right to speak to me. Silence. Elena looked back at Noah. I have conditions. Of course you do. First, she said, you pay for the honeymoon I was supposed to take with him. Noah nodded. Done. Second, you make Victor regret today for at least a month. Victor's face drained of color. Elena. Noah's smile was thin. Gladly. And third, Elena finished, you don't make me regret marrying you. Noah stepped closer. Regret won't be an issue. She exhaled, then laughed softly. You're insane. Yes, he agreed. But I'm honest. Elena turned to the officiant. Can we continue? The man stammered. Are you sure? She looked at Victor one last time. Absolutely. 20 minutes later, Elena Cross was married to a man she had met less than an hour ago. Victor and Leanne were gone before the reception began. The room buzzed with speculation. Phones lit up. Social media exploded. Elena stood beside Noah, champagne in hand, watching her old life burn quietly in real time. Do you dance? She asked him. I lead, he replied. As they moved onto the floor, his phone vibrated. Once. Twice. His jaw tightened. Everything okay? She asked. No, Noah said, already pulling her closer. But it will be. 3 men in dark suits entered the hall. And for the first time that day, Elena felt something colder than humiliation. Danger. Noah's hand tightened at the small of Elena's back, subtle but unmistakable. The music kept playing, soft and romantic, completely unaware that something had shifted beneath it. Don't look, Noah murmured, his lips barely moving. Just keep dancing. Elena resisted the urge to turn her head. You're going to have to explain why 3 men who look like they walked out of a funeral for a dictator just entered my wedding reception. They're not here for you, he said. That's not comforting. They're here because I stayed longer than planned. She finally glanced over his shoulder. The men stood near the entrance, scanning the room with trained efficiency. One of them caught Noah's eye and gave a single nod. The song ended. Applause followed. Noah guided her off the dance floor without rushing, without drawing attention. "We need to leave," he said. Elena stopped walking. "No." He turned to face her. "Elena. This is already the most humiliating day of my life," she said quietly. "I am not sneaking out like I did something wrong." Noah studied her for a moment, then nodded once. 5 minutes. He raised a hand. One of the men approached immediately. "Car ready?" Noah asked. "Yes, sir." Elena's eyebrows lifted. "Sir?" Noah leaned in. 5 minutes. Say your goodbyes. Then we go." She wanted to argue, to demand answers, but something in his tone told her this wasn't a negotiation. She turned, hugged her mother, ignored the questions flying at her from relatives, and 5 minutes later found herself being escorted through a side exit into the cool night air. A black sedan waited at the curb, engine running. Inside, the door shut with a solid, final sound. The car moved before Elena could speak. She crossed her arms. "Okay. Start talking." Noah loosened his tie, exhaling slowly. "What do you want to know first?" "Who you really are," she said. "And why those men looked like they'd kill someone for breathing wrong." "That's mostly accurate." She stared at him. "Noah." He met her gaze. "I handle high-risk operations. Security. Logistics. Conflict resolution." "That's vague." "It needs to be." Elena let out a humorless laugh. "I married a stranger at my ruined wedding and now he's telling me he lives in a spy movie." "No," Noah said calmly. "You married someone who knows how to keep you alive." The car pulled into an underground garage and stopped. Doors opened. They were ushered into an elevator that rose silently, smoothly, too fast. When the doors opened again, Elena stepped into a penthouse that stole her breath. Floor-to-ceiling windows. City lights stretching endlessly. Clean lines. No clutter. No warmth. "This is where you live?" she asked. "For now." She turned on him. "Are you dangerous?" Noah didn't answer immediately. He shrugged out of his jacket, placed it neatly over a chair. "I'm decisive," he said. "There's a difference." "That's not an answer." "I don't hurt people who don't deserve it," he said finally. "And I protect the ones under my name." "Under your name," she repeated. "Including me?" "Yes." Something in his voice made her chest tighten. Before she could respond, the elevator chimed again. A woman stepped out. Short hair. Sharp eyes. Tablet in hand. "Noah," she said briskly. "We have a problem." Elena glanced between them. "Of course you do." The woman's gaze flicked to Elena, assessing. "And she's my wife," Noah said. The woman paused. "That's unexpected." "Today has been that kind of day," Elena said. The woman sighed. "Sarah Lynn. I run the money and the messes." Elena nodded. "Elena Cross. I run sarcasm and bad decisions." Sarah almost smiled. "Victor Hale has been leaking information," she said, turning back to Noah. "He's been meeting with Caleb Ryu." Elena froze. "Who?" Noah's jaw tightened. "The Ryu Group." "That sounds ominous," Elena said. It is, Sarah replied. And now they know about you. Elena laughed once. Of course they do. Noah turned to her. You're not a liability. I feel like one. You're a message, he said. And I intend to answer it. Another man entered, broad-shouldered, quiet. Security is doubled, he said. We should move. No, Elena said suddenly. Everyone looked at her. I want to see Victor. Sarah frowned. That's not wise. I don't care, Elena said. I didn't walk away crying today. I'm not starting now. Noah searched her face. You stay behind me. You don't speak unless I say. She nodded. Deal. An hour later, they stood in the glass-walled office Victor once ruled. Victor looked up, smugness fading the moment he saw Noah. You, Victor whispered. Noah, Elena said sweetly. Remember me? Noah placed a device on the desk. Pressed play. Victor's voice filled the room. Confessions. Meetings. Betrayal. Leanne burst into tears. Victor collapsed into his chair. You resign, Noah said calmly. Tonight. You cut ties. You leave the city. And if I don't? Victor asked weakly. Noah leaned closer. Then this month will feel very long. Elena smiled. I told you he'd regret it. Back in the car, silence stretched. Noah finally spoke. You're not afraid. I am, Elena said. I'm just not running. He looked at her then, not amused, not guarded. Interested. Later, alone again in the penthouse, Elena exhaled and laughed softly. So, she said. This marriage. Yes? This wasn't part of your plan, was it? Noah shook his head. No. Regret yet? He stepped closer. Ask me tomorrow. And for the first time since the altar, Elena believed she might have won something instead of lost everything. If you're hooked so far, don't forget to like this video and subscribe, because things are about to get even more intense. Morning came too quietly. Elena woke to sunlight spilling across the penthouse floor and the distant hum of the city far below. For a few seconds, she forgot everything, then the weight of the previous night crashed back in. The ruined wedding. The stranger. The marriage certificate she'd signed with a steady hand she still didn't recognize as her own. She sat up. Noah stood at the kitchen island, sleeves rolled up, phone pressed to his ear. His voice was low, controlled, sharp in a way it hadn't been with her. I don't care what excuse he gave, Noah said. Shut it down. Now. He ended the call and turned. Their eyes met. You snore, he said. Elena blinked. You watched me sleep? I listened, he corrected. It was loud. She grabbed a cushion and threw it at him. He caught it easily, one-handed, and set it back on the couch like it had never threatened him. You're supposed to be terrified right now, she said. I am, Noah replied. Of burning the pancakes. She glanced at the pan. Blackened circles smoked quietly. That's not how you cook, she said. You volunteered, he countered. She took over without thinking, moving beside him, adjusting heat, flipping batter. The normalcy felt unreal. Almost dangerous. You could leave, Noah said suddenly. She paused. What? No one would blame you, he continued. I can annul this. Make it clean. Elena looked at him. Do you want that? He hesitated just long enough to answer honestly. No. She nodded. Then neither do I. His phone buzzed again. He ignored it. 10 minutes later, the comm shattered. June Kate appeared from the elevator, expression grim. Warehouse at North Point Docks was hit. Noah straightened instantly. Casualties? No, June said. But the message was clear. Elena felt her stomach twist. This is because of me. Noah shook his head. No. This is because someone thought they could test me. And me? She asked. You're my wife, he said. That makes you protected. And targeted, she replied. Sarah entered moments later, tablet already scrolling. Caleb Ryu wants a response. He's holding Victor. Elena's breath caught. Victor? He tried to run, Sarah said flatly. He didn't get far. Noah's jaw tightened. We're going to the docks. Elena stepped forward. I'm coming. No, Noah said. Yes, she countered. You said I wasn't something to hide. Sarah looked between them. She's right. Noah closed his eyes briefly. You stay behind me. Always. The docks smelled like oil and salt and tension. Floodlights cut harsh lines across concrete. Two groups faced each other, weapons visible but untouched. Victor knelt between them, hands shaking. Caleb Ryu smiled slowly. You escalated quickly. You attacked my property, Noah replied. You don't get to smile. Caleb's eyes flicked to Elena. So this is her. Elena lifted her chin. And you are? A problem, he said. Before Noah could speak, Elena stepped forward. June tensed. You used my ex-fiancé as bait, she said. That tells me you're desperate. Caleb laughed. Brave. Or observant, she shot back. If you had real leverage, you wouldn't need him. Silence stretched. Then screens around the dock flickered on. Min Jae's voice echoed. I've mapped every offshore account tied to the Ryu Group. Press me, and it all goes public. Caleb's smile vanished. This ends now, Noah said. You walk away. Caleb glanced at Victor, then shoved him forward. Take your trash. Victor collapsed at Noah's feet, sobbing. Leave the city, Noah said coldly. Disappear. Victor scrambled away without a word. The docks emptied. The threat evaporated as quickly as it had formed. Back in the car, Elena finally exhaled. I can't believe that worked. Noah looked at her. You were fearless. I was shaking, she admitted. That's courage, he said. That night, they stood by the window again, city glowing beneath them. I didn't plan this, Elena said quietly. No, Noah agreed. But neither did I. She turned to him. What happens now? He took her hands. Now we see if this was just survival, or something real. She smiled faintly. I think it already is. Outside, the city kept moving, unaware that two lives had collided, violently and unexpectedly, and refused to separate. If you're still watching and want to see how far this marriage goes, make sure you stay till the end, because the real test is just beginning. The days that followed blurred together, tense and strangely intimate. Elena learned quickly that being married to Noah Park meant living between two extremes: quiet domestic moments that felt almost tender, and sudden bursts of danger that reminded her exactly who he was. She learned his routines. He woke early, always before sunrise. He drank his coffee black. He listened more than he spoke. And when his phone rang, the air around him changed. They were in the penthouse living room when Sarah arrived again, this time without knocking. "The Ryu group is quiet," she said. "Too quiet." Elena folded her arms. "That's never a good thing." "No," Sarah agreed. "It usually means planning." Noah leaned against the counter. "They won't move openly. Not after the docs." "And Victor?" Elena asked. "Gone," Sarah replied. "Left the country this morning." Elena felt an unexpected release in her chest. "Good." Sarah's eyes softened slightly. "You handled yourself well out there." Elena shrugged. "I've had practice being underestimated." Later that night, Elena stood on the balcony, city wind brushing her face. Noah joined her, handing her a glass of wine. "You didn't have to come to the docks," he said. "I know," she replied. "But I wanted to." He studied her profile. "You're adapting too fast." She smiled faintly. "Maybe I was bored before." That earned a low laugh from him. The peace didn't last. 3 nights later, Noah's phone rang at 2 a.m. He was out of bed instantly. Elena sat up. "What is it?" "Attempted breach," he said. "Downstairs." She didn't ask questions. She pulled on a robe and followed him into the secure room hidden behind a sliding wall she hadn't known existed a week ago. Cameras lit up the screens. 3 masked figures. Neutralized within seconds by security. June's voice crackled through the speaker. "Handled." Elena let out a shaky breath. "So this is normal." "For me," Noah said. "It doesn't have to be for you." She turned to him. "I'm still here." He nodded once, something unspoken passing between them. The next morning, Noah made a decision. "We're leaving," he said. Elena raised an eyebrow. "Running?" "Strategic retreat," he corrected. "Sierra Isle." "Private." "Secure." "And romantic?" she asked. He smirked. "If we survive the flight." The island was breathtaking without being excessive. Stone and glass nestled into greenery. Ocean stretching endlessly. For the first time since the wedding, Elena relaxed. They walked barefoot along the beach at dusk. "You ever imagine this?" she asked. "Marrying someone you just met?" "No," Noah said. "But I imagined you." She stopped. "What?" "I noticed you months ago," he admitted. "Boardroom. You didn't flinch when someone tried to undermine you." Elena laughed softly. "So you crashed my wedding?" "Yes." She shook her head. "That's insane." "And yet," he said, stepping closer, "here we are." That night, the world felt far away. They talked. Laughed. Shared stories without masks. When they kissed, it wasn't desperate. It was deliberate. The next morning, the illusion cracked again. June called. "We lost another shipment." Elena's smile faded. "Because of me." Noah cupped her face. Stop saying that. You don't know that, she said. I do, he replied. They wanted war long before you. She believed him. Barely. That afternoon, Elena found Sarah sitting alone, scrolling through data. You ever regret this life? Elena asked. Sarah didn't look up. Every safe day is worth the dangerous ones. That night, Elena lay awake, listening to the waves, wondering how something born out of humiliation had become this, steady. Noah's arm wrapped around her waist. You're thinking too loudly, he murmured. Am I making a mistake? She asked. He didn't answer immediately. You're making a choice. She turned to face him. And you? I already chose, he said. At the altar. For the first time, Elena let herself believe the marriage wasn't just revenge. It was intention. And somewhere far away, someone else was watching, waiting for the moment to break it. If you're enjoying the story so far, stay with us, because the calm you feel right now won't last much longer. The calm shattered just after midnight. Elena woke to Noah slipping out of bed, movements careful, controlled. She didn't pretend to be asleep. What is it? She asked quietly. Noah paused. We have company. Her heart kicked. Here? Not inside, he said. Yet. She wrapped a sheet around herself and followed him onto the balcony. In the distance, lights moved along the edge of the island, boats. Too many. Too coordinated. Noah's phone buzzed. Sarah's voice came through immediately. Caleb Ryu is pushing the boundary. He wants you to respond. Elena swallowed. He's using me. He's testing me, Noah corrected. There's a difference. He ended the call and turned to Elena. We leave at first light. And if he follows? He will, Noah said calmly. That's the point. By morning, the villa was empty except for the sound of waves. A helicopter lifted them off Siora Isle, blades slicing the air. Elena watched the island shrink beneath them, the fragile sense of safety disappearing with it. Back in the city, the penthouse felt colder. Min Jae was already there, fingers flying across screens. They're bleeding resources trying to keep up with us, he said. Ryu's impatient. That makes him sloppy, Noah replied. Elena leaned against the counter. Then let him make the mistake. Everyone turned to look at her. Sarah raised an eyebrow. What do you suggest? Elena straightened. He wants leverage. Give him the illusion of it. Noah studied her, something sharp and proud in his gaze. Explain. Public appearance, Elena said. A charity gala. Cameras everywhere. You, me. United. Calm. Untouchable. And when he takes the bait? June asked. Then he exposes himself, Elena replied. The plan moved fast. 2 nights later, Elena stepped out of the car into flashing lights. Cameras. Reporters shouting questions. Noah's hand was warm and steady at her back. Smile, he murmured. This scares them more than weapons. Inside, the air buzzed with wealth and influence. Elena felt eyes on her, curious, calculating. Caleb Ryu appeared near the bar, slow smile spreading. Mrs. Park, he said smoothly. Enjoying the spotlight? Elena met his gaze. I always do. Noah joined them. You've made your point, Caleb. Have I? Caleb replied. Or have you? The music swelled. Conversations paused. Caleb leaned in slightly. You should have stayed in your lane. Noah's voice was calm. You should have stayed out of my marriage. Caleb chuckled. She won't last. Elena smiled sweetly. Neither will you, if you keep underestimating me. The tension snapped when security moved in. Min Jae's voice echoed through the earpiece. Now. Screens around the ballroom flickered. Financial records. Transfers. Illegal shipments. Gasps filled the room. Caleb's smile collapsed. Noah didn't raise his voice. This ends tonight. Security escorted Caleb out under a storm of whispers and flashing cameras. Elena exhaled slowly. That felt final. It was, Sarah said later. He won't recover from that. Back at the penthouse, exhaustion hit Elena all at once. She sank onto the couch, head in her hands. Noah knelt in front of her. You were brilliant. She laughed weakly. I almost threw up. That's leadership, he said. She looked at him. This ends now, right? For them, Noah replied. Not for us. She hesitated. What does that mean? It means, he said carefully, that I don't want this to be temporary. Her breath caught. Neither do I. Silence settled between them, not heavy, but full. Later, as they stood by the window again, Elena realized something startling. She wasn't waiting for the danger to end anymore. She was building a life inside it. And she wasn't alone. Stay with the story, because the final choices are coming, and they'll change everything. The fallout was immediate. By morning, news outlets were buzzing. Headlines splashed across screens in bold fonts: financial scandals, underground dealings, powerful names suddenly untouchable no more. Elena watched from the kitchen island as Noah scrolled silently through updates, his expression unreadable. You broke him, she said. No, Noah replied. He broke himself. We just turned on the lights. Her phone vibrated nonstop. Messages from old friends. Former colleagues. Even distant relatives who had watched the wedding disaster go viral now wanted explanations, interviews, details. Elena turned the phone face down. I don't want to be a spectacle. Noah reached for her hand. You won't be. How can you be sure? Because I won't allow it, he said simply. Later that afternoon, Sarah gathered the team in the penthouse. The atmosphere was different, lighter, but sharper. The Ryu group is effectively dismantled, Sarah announced. Assets frozen. Partners distancing themselves. June nodded. Security threats have dropped significantly. Min Jae grinned. Their systems are mine. Permanently. Elena looked around the room. So, we won? Sarah's smile was thin. In this world, you don't win. You survive longer. The team dispersed, leaving Elena and Noah alone again. You ever get tired? Elena asked quietly. No, Noah said. But I get aware. Of what? Of what I'm risking. She stepped closer. And am I part of that risk? He met her eyes. You're the part that makes it worth it. The words settled between them, heavy and real. That evening, Elena found Noah on the balcony again, city lights reflecting in his eyes. "You're thinking about walking away," she said. He didn't deny it. "For you." She shook her head. "Don't." He turned sharply. "You don't understand what staying means." "I do," she said. "It means choosing me as I am, not as someone you need to protect from reality." He studied her for a long moment. "You're not afraid of this life." "I am," she admitted. "But I'm more afraid of losing myself by running." Silence stretched. Then Noah nodded once. "Then we build boundaries. Together." The next days were quieter, deliberately so. No appearances. No threats. Just space. Elena rediscovered parts of herself she thought she'd lost at the altar: confidence without performance, strength without bitterness. She worked remotely, negotiated deals, laughed again without forcing it. One morning, she walked into the kitchen to find Noah staring at a small velvet box. "What's that?" she asked. He looked almost nervous. "Something I should have done properly." He opened it. Inside was a simple ring. Elegant. Unassuming. "Elena Cross," he said, voice steady despite the moment, "our marriage started as chaos. I won't apologize for that. But I want the choice to be real now. No contracts. No pressure." Her chest tightened. "Are you proposing to your wife?" "Yes," he said. This time without an audience. She laughed, tears burning her eyes. "You're unbelievable." "Is that a no?" She slipped the ring onto her finger herself. "It's a yes." That night, they didn't talk about danger or enemies or power. They talked about mundane things: travel plans, terrible movies, food they both hated. Normal things. And Elena realized something profound. The wedding she lost had been a performance. This was a partnership. Outside, the city slept, unaware that two people had chosen each other not out of revenge, but out of clarity. One chapter was closing. The last was about to begin. Stay with us, because the ending isn't just about survival, it's about what comes after. The morning after the ring felt different. Not dramatic. Not dangerous. Just real. Elena woke before Noah for the first time. She lay still, watching the slow rise and fall of his chest, the faint crease between his brows that never fully disappeared even in sleep. This man, powerful, feared, controlled, looked almost ordinary like this. Human. She slipped out of bed and padded into the kitchen. An hour later, the smell of coffee and burnt toast filled the penthouse. Noah appeared in the doorway, squinting. "You're committing a crime against breakfast." Elena didn't look up. "You burned pancakes." "We're even." He came closer, wrapped his arms around her waist from behind, resting his chin on her shoulder. For a moment, neither of them spoke. "This is dangerous," he said quietly. She smiled. "Toast?" "No. This." He gestured vaguely at the room. "At them. Getting used to peace." She turned in his arms to face him. "Peace isn't the absence of danger. It's choosing what matters more." His gaze softened. "You should be terrified of me." "I was," she admitted. "At first. And now? Now I know exactly who you are." He kissed her then, not urgent, not claiming. Just certain. The call came mid-morning. Sarah's voice was calm, but firm. "We have confirmation. Victor Hale is trying to resurface." Elena closed her eyes. "Of course he is. He's desperate," Sarah continued. "And careless." Noah's jaw tightened. "Where?" "Arden City. He's been talking. Too much." Elena exhaled slowly. "Then let's end it." The meeting was quiet. No weapons. No crowds. Just a private room in a discreet building Victor once believed was safe. He looked smaller than Elena remembered. Thinner. Fractured. "Elena," Victor said when he saw her. "You look different." "I am," she replied. Noah remained standing behind her, silent, unmoving. Victor swallowed. "I made mistakes." "You betrayed me," Elena said evenly. "You humiliated me. You tried to sell power you never earned." "I was scared," he whispered. "So was I," she said. "I just didn't destroy people because of it." Noah finally spoke. "This is your last chance." Victor nodded frantically. "I'll disappear. I swear." "You already tried that," Elena said. "This time, you leave with nothing. No money. No protection. No lies." Victor looked at Noah. "Please." Noah's expression didn't change. "You're alive. That's mercy." Victor left without another word. When the door closed, Elena felt something lift from her chest, something she hadn't realized she'd been carrying since the altar. "It's over," she said softly. "Yes," Noah replied. "It is." They walked out into the afternoon light together, no entourage, no tension trailing behind them. That night, Elena stood on the balcony again, city lights glittering below. Noah joined her, slipping a jacket over her shoulders. "You know," she said, "people will talk about how our marriage started forever." "They already are," he said dryly. "But they'll never understand how it became this," she continued. He leaned against the railing. "Does that bother you?" She shook her head. "No. This is ours." He studied her. "I didn't save you." She smiled. "No. You stood beside me." Silence settled, not awkward, not heavy. Comfortable. Later, curled together on the couch, Elena thought about the girl she had been that morning at the altar. The one who thought losing a wedding meant losing everything. She had been wrong. She had lost a lie. She had gained a partner. A man who didn't promise safety, but honesty. A man who didn't rescue, but respected. A man who sat in the last row, watched her choose herself, and decided she was worth choosing too. Noah brushed his thumb over her ring absent-mindedly. "What are you thinking?" "That my life could have gone very differently," she said. And I wouldn't change a single thing." He smiled then, fully, without restraint. "Neither would I." The city hummed on, unaware that somewhere above it, two people were beginning a life built not on perfection, but on choice. And if you stayed till the end of this story, don't forget to like, subscribe, and comment below if you want to see what happens next, because this was only the beginning of Elena and Noah's story.